Okay, so we've got a last couple things we want to cover with this introduction to Word that we've been doing. And the next one is the header and footer ribbon. And if you're looking at the screen right now, you may go, well, I don't have a header or footer ribbon. And that would be true because we haven't added one yet, or added a header or a footer. A header is text that appears in the margins at the top of every page of your document. A footer is one that appears at the margins at the bottom. And to get a header, you would do insert ribbon and then choose header. Typically I just go with blank. There are some predefined ones that you are welcome to use or play around with, but for today's purposes we're just going to go with blank. And then you'll add your text. So maybe you want your name. If I press, and this is kind of a cool feature about headers, if I press tab once, it will center the text. So if I wanted to add a date, and I could type today's date in and it would always have today's date on, but if I use this date and time button, I can actually insert the date and it will always have the correct date and I don't have to update it. So that's another cool feature. If I press tab again, I will get right aligned, okay, and then I can add page and I can insert a page number. Now, as you can see here on the ribbon, we have this page numbers button. If I click that and just choose top of page, because that's where I am, it'll delete what I have and put a header or a page number there. So I don't want to do that. The best bet, and I just say use this all the time, is to go to page numbers, choose current position, and then you can just pick plain number. We don't need anything fancy, and it will insert the correct page and page number. And then when you're done, you can just hit close header and footer. And you can see that says page 2 because I was on the second page. Word can count for me. It's actually pretty smart that way. Okay, so let me delete that because we'll go back and now that I've demonstrated it, do this together. So the first thing, boop, delete, we want to do is go to the, I'm going to go back to the very top of my document, go to the insert ribbon, choose header, pick blank header, okay, and then you're going to go ahead, we're not going to get quite as fancy as I did in the demo, but go ahead and insert, let's type your name, and then press tab twice, okay, and then we'll type the word page, oops, space, and we'll use the page number command and current position to insert a plain page number. Okay, for that we're done. We'll hit close header footer and we will be all done. The next one I want to talk about is the Picture Tools Format ribbon, and you may be going, well, I don't have one of those either. You probably don't because you're not clicked on a picture, but if you scroll down till you find your picture and you click on it, then you can get the Picture Tools Format ribbon. And most of the formatting you do from this ribbon. If I want to center it, I just use my center button. But everything else is here, and you could play around with the way the picture looks, so you could impact the color tone or artistic effects, those sorts of things. Put that back to, oops. Normal, play around with that a little if you want to. The picture styles here, I think this one's kind of cool because you can change the way the picture looks. So if you want to put a little border around it, change its shape from square to rectangle, you could impact the border. So if I wanted a different color border, I could do that, or there's effects. See, again, I always recommend with pictures that you go ahead and save it. Then you can make your changes. If you don't like what you did, just hit undo. It will change it back, and if worse comes to worse and you can't seem to undo, you can always revert back to the saved document. But don't be afraid to play. Wrapping determines how the picture is with relation to the text. If you want the text to be above and below, you would choose top and bottom, which is what we would want for this picture. If we wanted like our fish up here to wrap, then we could go to wrap text and make sure we choose square or tight. and have it wrapped that way. Okay, and then cropping is another one. If we don't like all that extra space, we can choose to crop it and get rid of a little bit. Let's settle that little dark background there, and that changes kind of the size of it, the shape as well. You can change the height to make it bigger or smaller um, on the picture formatting toolbar too. Okay, so let's go ahead and together make some changes to our picture. Okay, so come on down here to the mountain picture that you added and use the home ribbon to center it. We'll start with that, and then once you have that done and you've clicked on the picture, choose the formatting ribbon and just again play around a little bit with the maybe the borders or the effects or the I don't like that one. We'll hit undo. Again, with that, you make it pretty good size, so it's taken up most of the page. For that, if you want to crop it a little bit, you can. Again, just kind of play around with it a little bit. Let's just do a little bit of cropping. Okay. Oops, I got in the header somehow. Alright, so there's that. Text wrapping for this one, you would set it at top and bottom. Let's see. So yeah, just kind of like I said, play around till you get a picture that you like how it looks, and then you can be done. Alright. Next ribbon is the view ribbon. The view ribbon is one of those that you could do a lot of what you do in the view ribbon down here on the status bar. The views down here, the full screen and web and outline and all of that are the same buttons as this. You can add the ruler or not. Again, personal preference. I happen to like it just because it shows me how things are on the page. Got the zoom. 100%. You can see, so you can see the whole page, 2 pages at a time. Scroll up a little bit, or page width, which can make it really big. Oops, back to view. Again, just the whole screen. You can custom zoom if you wanted to whatever it is that you want it to be for that. So that is the zoom or the view ribbon. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is just talk about a couple things. One is copying and pasting between documents, and the other is indents. So let me talk about indents real quick, and then we'll copy and paste and practice doing indents. We talked about indents with the paragraph dialog box. In this indentation section, left indent, as you can see on the example, indents the entire paragraph, which you want to do sometimes with an offset quote or something like that. But a lot of the times you either want the first line to indent, okay, like you see here, that's your standard paragraph format, and if you set that up when you start your paper, it'll automatically continue that when you press enter for the next paragraph. The other option is hanging indent, and a hanging indent has the first line at the margin and everything else indented. And while that looks a little odd, it's what lets you do numbered lists and bullet lists with the text lining up, and it's also how you would format the sources in a works cited page. That's just the standard way of doing it, is with the half-inch hanging indent. Let me turn that off for now. Okay, so let's get something to indent. So start by hitting Control End, going to the end of your document, and we'll insert a page break. So we'll do Insert and Page Break. And then we can go ahead and type the words Works Cited, press Enter, and then we can center that. Okay, so I'm not doing this exactly in the order of the book, but or the handout, but that's okay. Alright, so now we've got our Works Cited page set up. We're going to go back to LAMP. We're going to go to the Board Practice Assignment in the assignment. So make sure you're in the assignment section, Word Practice Assignment, and open this document called Sources for Word Practice Document. Select the sources, hit copy. Control C on the keyboard does that as well. Go back to your document, hit paste or Control V, and now we've got sources in our Works Cited. Now, the entire Works Cited should be double spaced, so I'm going to select Works Cited through the end and change my spacing to double. And then I'm going to go ahead and select my sources. Now, let me talk for a second about formatting Works Cited, okay? A lot of people like to do Enter and then Tab. And you may say, well, that's what I do, what's wrong with that? And if you have Show Hide turned off, you can't even really tell the difference, except if you have to make a change. Say you have a typo, or you left out a word, or you did something else. Say the title was actually Keeping Your Computer Healthy and Happy. Okay, so now you see what happens is this wraps. My tab is still in there. If I put Show Hide back on, and now I have to go in and I have to kind of delete that, and then I have to figure out where to put the enter and where to put the tab, and it turns into more work. And again, the goal with any of these programs is to let the program do the work, and you just have to do a little bit of thinking. So instead of using enters and tabs, select your text and go to the paragraph. Tell it you want to do a hanging indent. Make sure it's 1/2 inch. Click OK. And now we have our sources formatted with a 1/2 inch hanging indent. And then if they're not in alphabetical order, you could use the sort button. That's another thing the hanging indent lets you do that Enter tab does not. Alright, let's scroll back up, because I think I'm supposed to have you indent this paragraph with a 1/2 inch first line indent. Click OK. And that's it. So if your document looks like this, and I'll scroll through, so we've got a name and page number in the header, the title, Word Practice Document, first paragraph indented with our little fishy of some sort next to it, synonym for grow, page break there, we have second page 2, not another number 1, our little italics and underlines and things like that. Copied text, bulleted text with the spacing before, numbered list with the space. Oh, I'm sorry. Spacing after. We've got our picture that's been nicely formatted. We've got a table. We've got our word count. We have a page break, and we have Works Cited. If you're done with that, then you can go ahead and save your document. And a finished document can be submitted to Assignments and LAMP. So you'd go back to Assignments, browse to where you saved it. Let's see, I think I just stuck it in my documents. Oops, helps you get to the right folder. Alright, Word Practice Document. Open. Why did it do that? Okay, there we go. Word Practice Document, open, and then you would hit Submit. Okay, and I'm not going to do that because it makes it look like I have a file to grade when I don't. But when you're done, you hit the Submit button, and it comes to me, and I can see what you've done.